Welcome back to Relentless Dota. Here's a game commentary from a game that I played earlier today. And if we take a look, let's go to Last Hits and Denies. We've got Mia's Underlord once again on the same team with an AM I've played with before, who's actually pretty good. We've got Silencer going mid, Rubik going to support me, which is always a scary thought because most support players don't know how to play support, but this one's actually quite good. And we've got Undying, which is a character that falls off early, so he has to get stuff done early in the game, or it's just not going to work out for him because he's not great late. Silencer goes to get the block mid. Underlord and Rubik show up to go to the bot lane. And as the game begins, Pangolier steps in to go get his rune, not knowing that there's two people here. Not a lot of damage done either way. And the runes get split 2-2. There's a brief pause because AM line dropped for a second. Silencer's got a normal build with a null talisman. PA comes with just a stout shield. It's an odd choice. He did a lot of odd things. Undying goes with a magic stick, I guess trying to cash in on PA throwing a dagger constantly. AM brings two forms of regen, like a much better player. Also has a quelling blade and a stout shield, and should be able to farm up pretty nicely here. When we go over to the bottom lane, we've got Pangolier running around with two forms of regen and some mana. And we've got Pudge, who decided to go hook at first level. Hook at first level is actually something that I don't particularly like. I've seen people do it. But if you don't have Rot, which is the skill that most people pick up at second level, then your hook does nothing. You can hook a guy and burn half your mana doing so. And then after you hook him, he just walks away. So you're much better off going Rot at first level. Here he hooks a creep. Good for him. But as we can see, AM's already off to a hell of a start at 8-2. Underlord's 5-3, followed by Silencer, mid on the same team, 5-2. And then finally we have them coming in with next to nothing. PA has one last hit and one deny, and we're 2 minutes into the game. Pudge does manage to go pick up a couple of the bounty runes, just as AM gets his first kill. We're going to focus in mostly on the top lane, because there's a lot more action that takes place up here. This is a lane with a lot more kill potential. Skye commits way too deep. PA comes in at level 2 and gets absolutely annihilated. Skye then is forced to back off and pick up bounty runes. That's the best he can do. And they're now actually pressuring the tower with a PA as opposed to just guarding their own base. As opposed to pushing the lane forward, rather, I should say. AM is practically free farming at this point. PA's using his dagger to try to harass AM instead of using his dagger to last hit. And he does push AM away for a moment. But Skye is competing with the PA for last hits at this point. Skye continues to harass. And he's got 4 clarities with no items, so not a bad thing for a Skye. If you're going to play support. They've now pushed the lane all the way in, which is a huge mistake, makes it much easier for AM to farm. And PA's second item is a wand. Wand's a very odd choice because AM doesn't cast many spells at all, and Undying is properly going and pulling the lane and picking up bounty runes, so that wand is not going to get a whole lot of charges the way it would against a PA who's constantly daggering. AM now has 3 charges, and they're going to just keep going up. 26-3 on the AM versus 10-2 on the PA. So even though they are the same level, the amount of farm is insanely higher on AM. As a matter of fact, let's go and check net worth. And we've got AM at the top of the board with 2,300, followed by Silencer with 22, and Underlord with 22. That means the same team is not just winning, but crushing all 3 lanes at the moment. Storm Spirits managed to pick up 1,200 gold in the first almost 6 minutes of the game as a mid. And in terms of items, that's gotten him a wand, which again makes very little sense against a silencer who doesn't spam spells. And he's still got some regen, and he went and picked up a raindrop. He's 2 levels below the silencer now. They both went for the rune, but there was none. Pudge now tries to get into position for a hook, but silencer has a ward out and knows where Pudge is. Pudge misses his hook and runs back down to bot lane. So Pudge is now just running back and forth, missing hooks and accomplishing nothing. When Storm Spirit does step forward, Silencer punishes him under tower. And then last hits easily under tower, which is something Silencer's good at. We're 7 minutes in. Silencer's going to run over and use the shrine. As we head back down to bottom lane, we've now got a level 6 Underlord doing what he does by himself because Rubik was smart enough to leave the lane. And he's up against a terrible Pudge who's only level 3 and a Pangolier who's near death at level 5. Underlord picks up a ward, so now he can see if Pudge comes into this area. And notice the placement of the ward and what it covers. It gives vision of this pathway, it gives vision of this alleyway, and of this alleyway. So if Pudge tries to loop around in any way, he'll have immediate vision. The only place Pudge can stand to actually hook is right here, or over here in the woods. And Pudge never goes over in these woods, so this is the only place that anyone has to have any care about. Pudge goes to get bounty runes. He's going to face Underlord back here. Underlord just gets in a couple of hits on him, and actually gets the bounty rune, so Pudge is denied that as well. When we go to the top lane, we've got Rubik shifting over and helping to get even more kills. AM continues to get fat. Rubik's denying as best he can in order to pull the wave back. And now going into zone. They've now decided to go 4 top. This is their biggest gank attempt of the game. Undying has a tombstone down. They did pick up a kill on a Rubik and traded it for a kill on a Skywrath. Undying charged in a little too deep. And while Undying does die, he frees up a couple of kills for AM. AM's now got a triple kill off of that. He's now 4,800 net worth, being played by the toxic player. That's actually his name. They start coming back in. We've got a level 8 AM against a level 6 PA. Now, what items does PA have? He's gotten brown boots, and now he has gone and picked up a quelling blade, supposedly to help him farm, I guess. But he's going to try to out-farm a PA. Rubik is properly pulled and pulled through, bringing the entire lane back. And Rubik is now picking up his own experience. As PA is level 8. And is getting pretty damn close to having a Battle Fury at only 11 minutes into the game. Sky comes in on Rubik. That's a very hard target for him just because Rubik has so much magic resistance, but the PA is able to go and pick up a kill. What's happening bot lane? Underlord's already taken their tower, and 1v2 against the Pangolier is now pressuring the T2 tower as well. He gets Pudge to come down towards him. Signals what he's trying to do. Continues to pressure as Pudge just runs in a circle and has no idea where to go. Pudge is actually now just running around this area of the map doing nothing. The signals worked. Rubik has come to support the push. And Underlord has gotten a Meteor Hammer and is now Meteor Hammering their tower. Storm Spirit comes in. Underlord goes to Dark Rift. And in fairness, if they had stayed, they might have even gotten the kill on Pangolier, but this way they just get out cleanly, which is safer. AM is now free farming in the jungle. With a Battle Fury, he's accelerated to level 9. Undying is now holding the lane. He's gotten his 6 as well. PA is forced to jungle. Still has not acquired an item other than a Ring of Health, and is apparently going to go Blade Fury first. Battle Fury rather, and to compete with the Battle Fury that AM already has. So AM appears to think he's going to get a Battle Fury and then somehow out-farm an AM in the jungle. Underlord now begins to pressure the mid tower, and with the bottom tower already down and the mid tower under pressure, the team is unable to do anything about AM farming, and AM is free to either farm in lane or head into the jungle at will. Storm Spirit's got nothing to offer. Silencer is circling around back. And they've now almost taken the mid tower. Pudge steps in to defend it for a minute. And PA comes in as well. Underlord leaves to go defend bottom tower so they can't get a cheap tower that way. And Pangolier goes mid instead. The problem? Pangolier's going mid against a better team. They have picked up a couple of kills that worked for them. But Underlord is free to now go and push bottom lane again, and their towers are pushing in. This entire time, AM continues to farm in the jungle, and has now opened up a 4,000 gold lead. He's doubling the gold of the AM at this point. Underlord just rings the bell and runs, goes back mid as Pangolier comes bottom, and will continue to pressure mid, while the fight takes place top. AM at this point is so fat, at level 12, Silencer at level 13, that they're just going to push right through whatever comes. Underlord takes down the T1. Storm thinks he's going to jump him even though he's 3 levels down. He blinks around a bit, and then Underlord just flat out kills him. Top tower falls. PA is forced to retreat along with Sky to try to go mid and defend. Underlord is now pressuring that tower and has taken basically half of it. The Global Silence stops Sky from doing much. Underlord jukes into the trees, roots, and his team shows up with a kill. They do kill Underlord, but what did it cost them? Looks like it's going to be 3 heroes, maybe 4. Buybacks keep coming. Underlord buys back to go and pick up items at this point, realizing that the route is on. Even though it's 16 to 14, there's an 8k gold lead with an AM free farming. So here's the thing. Underlord could have stayed dead, but instead of staying dead, he goes, buys back, and starts pressuring bottom immediately. That does a couple of things. It keeps the enemy from pressuring the T1 tower mid. They have to go back and defend it, and it allows the AM to keep free farming. Now that they've gone back to defend, he goes top and starts pushing that way as well. So that buyback cost a few hundred gold, but in terms of map control and space creation, it's enormous. Roots both of them and just simply walks away as his team has time to now come to the top lane. Undying comes in, starts going after the PA, almost gets the courier. Root, everyone shows up. Meteor Hammer on 2. That's a dead PA. Storm runs. And yeah, they get away, but Underlord's now pushing the lane and threatening the T2 mid. Meanwhile, AM just continues to farm out of control. He's got 11,000 net worth. He's now 6,000 up, doubling Pangolier, who's the highest on the other team. Underlord's in at 7,000, Silencer in at 6,000, and this is a runaway game at this point. Underlord goes and signals that we're going to go bottom and take their bottom T2. Pudge is defending. But because all 3 lanes are being pressured, they really don't even know where to go. Rubik shows up to help. PA is about to step in, it looks like. Underlord Meteor Hammers the tower, which will finish it off. Goes to try to save Rubik. Doesn't manage to do so, but now he and the Undying are taking out the PA. Nice play by the Undying to get the last hit on him. Storm is able to get out. And they're just going to continue pressuring bottom lane. What's happening up top? Pangolier goes to try to take a tower, and AM is all over him. Pangolier uses his ult defensively just to try to get away. And AM smartly doesn't try too hard to push in or chase after him. He just goes right back to farming. As we look at the towers, the dire side has lost just its bottom T1 tower, while Radiant has lost all of its T1s and one of its T2s. Its mid T2 is about to fall next. That's as close as you can get to a team fight. Underlord coming in late, rooting and pushing. And these fights, because they're happening right around their towers with lanes pushing, are resulting in objective kills, not just kills on people. Pangolier does his little rollerball thing, which is not much more than cute. Rubik steals it, makes quite a play. Pangolier gets rooted and killed. Instead of overstaying, the team actually pulls back and leaves. Meanwhile, Silencer is taking the top tower. And they're starting to request people report Sky, because Sky is doing nothing but sitting in the fountain at level 8 with next to no items. The problem here for them is Sky isn't really the problem. Underlord is now level 17. Let's take a look at hero levels. We've got a 19 Anti-Mage, a 17 Underlord, a 17 Silencer up against a 15 Pangolier and a 13 Storm Spirit or 13 PA. That's a 4 to 6 level gap. The map is now almost completely pushed in. Sky apparently is now back from whatever he was doing, making dinner or whatever. The team starts to coalesce and push down mid lane. Pudge is there, but at level 13 against a couple of 17s, doesn't really have much hope. He does hook Silencer, and Pudge is able to get the kill on Silencer, but Underlord immediately turns around and kills the Pudge for doing so. All of this pressure is happening as AM continues to farm. So AM's not even here when we're pressuring high ground, which in a game like this is perfectly fine. The team takes a T3, AM continues to farm, and Underlord is pretty damn near unkillable. He doesn't really have items yet. He's only got a Shiva's and a Meteor Hammer, but just positionally it's becoming very hard to kill him. Underlord Meteor Hammers the tower and stays on objectives. He's now going to run. Let's see how hard it is for them to kill him. He's kiting them through his own route and goes right back to hitting their towers. AM has showed up at level 22. Underlord's now backing out. They've lost a rack and a tower. Underlord's not quite 20 yet. The moment he gets to 20, he gets a 20 health regen talent from his talent tree. So finishing up his level 20 would make a huge difference. And because I'm playing Underlord, I can tell you, I pick up this regen rune, and then I immediately go and purchase an Aeon Disc. An Aeon Disc on Underlord is completely unfair because it keeps him alive no matter what. You can't kill him. And while you don't kill him, there's a 40% damage reduction aura that stays in effect the entire time. Now that 40% damage reduction is not 40% of all damage, it's 40% of the base right-click damage of your opponents. But as we can see, if we go and take a look at Storm Spirit, he's only got base right-click damage, and it's 112 damage, so anytime he's near Underlord, he's losing roughly 50 of that. Underlord's cutting his damage in half on every right-click. Sky, 73 base damage, so any right-click, he's doing less than half. PA is 94 and 60, so half roughly of the 94, dropping it by 45. He's now doing 100 instead of 150. So their damage is being cut to crap, and that Aeon Disc prevents them from killing the thing that's cutting their damage. They do finally kill Underlord. Also, by having a Shiva's Guard while cutting damage, he's also eliminating 45 from their attack speed of each of them. So they can't right-click at all. They're reliant completely on spells. And what's the problem with them relying on spells completely? Well, when you take a look at Rubik, Rubik's got a null field, which adds 18% magic resistance to everyone on the team. So they can't right-click, and their magic is being hit by an 18% reduction as well. If this game were any tighter, Underlord would have picked up a pipe by now, which would have eliminated their magic damage to go along with it. Instead, we're going to eliminate their shrines. AM is now nearing max level. Let's take a look at net worth. 24,000. AM is now doubling the Underlord and all other players in the game. Meanwhile, Underlord's at 12, Silencer's at 11, and Pudge is actually their highest net worth character on the opposing team at 9,000. Pudge denies himself there. He's managed to get a Blink Dagger, a Rod of Athos to make his hooks easier, and he's got an Urn of Shadows with 8 charges on it that isn't going to be particularly useful because he has no carries. PA has managed to get a Battle Fury, and that's about it. Storm Spirit, a Yule Scepter, and that's about it. No Kaya, no Bloodstone, no nothing. Underlord is now solo pushing bottom. They send 4 heroes to kill him, and he Dark Rifts away, taking no damage, and taunts. Meanwhile, AM pushes in top, and leaves. No matter where they go, they're being pressured in all 3 lanes, and they have no ability to catch or stop anybody. AM's farming is literally off the chart at this point. Running around 27,000 gold. He's managed to pick up a Manta, an Abyssal Blade, his Power Treads, a Battle Fury. He's got Evasion, and then he picked up a Monkey King bar, so PA's evasion is meaningless. Every time he takes a swing, he's got True Strike, and he'll just simply annihilate the PA. Having that evasion to go along with the damage block from Underlord and the attack speed block from Underlord means that pretty much nobody can right-click AM, let alone kill him. Add in the magic resistance from Rubik, add in the strength removal from Undying, add in silence, which stops them from using any of their skills. Here's a global silence, so that he yules himself into a pit, ends up rooted and dead. And what's going on here is the enemy simply has no damage. They just can't hurt anybody. This game's now pretty much over. It's been over for 10 minutes, and we're only 32 minutes into the game. Underlord starts clowning around trying to meteor hammer them in the fountain, and they set off his Aeon Disc, and he walks it off. 2 of them staying in the fountain, while the rest of the team goes and takes down their T4 towers. Pangolier comes out, and this is actually interesting. Using the pit, he prevents him from being able to escape, and then they just kill him off. Rather than trying to pit him for half a second, he pits in front of him and blocks his retreat. They do finally kill off the Underlord, and now everyone's fountain diving. AM's killing everyone in their fountain. There's nothing they can do. They're all dead, and so is their Ancient. That's a good game. That's what happens when a Peruvian team starts screaming at each other in Spanish and no one buys any items at all. Thanks for watching. Relentless Dota. We'll see you here again next time. These scores are insane. 12-0-6 on the AM. 10-7-7 on the Silencer. 13 assists, 6 kills on the Underlord. 9-21 on the Undying. Rubik died 9 times, but he was the one placing wards everywhere. And when we look at their team, Pudge has a positive KDA at 8-6-12. PA went 3-10-13, 6-11-9, 1-7-10, 5-6-9. This was an absolute blowout. And as we can see at the end of the game, 32,000 net worth. That's more than second and third combined by a lot. And Underlord actually had the highest damage in the game because AM was farming so much he just didn't do as much damage to people. He'd still racked up a 964 GPM and an 886 experience per minute, which is off the charts. They each did 7,000 building damage. But take a look at this. Underlord did 20,000 damage in the game. That's more than the PA and the Skywrath combined. That's an insane damage difference. As far as net worths, 7,000, 9,000, 4,000. They just got nothing done all game. Underlord got kills on everybody in the game. So did pretty much everybody else. And as we can see, the wards actually got split. Undying bought a bunch of them. Rubik picked up 3 of them and the courier. When we check the graph, it's straight down. Player net worth, look at AM's graph. That's just insane. If you eliminated AM from the graph entirely, just removed them, you'd say, wow, what a game Underlord and Silencer had. They managed to get this far ahead of everybody else. But when we turn on AM, it's just insane. Player level looks about the same. As far as item timings on the Underlord, we picked up a soul ring very early. How early exactly? At 4 minutes, we've got a soul ring and tranquil boots. We just had them delivered together to be more efficient with the courier. Then we've got our meteor hammer by 11 minutes rather than 14. We pick up a Shiva's guard at 22 minutes, an Aeon disc at 26 minutes, and we pretty much just stopped buying items. We could have got